Well, what do you know? I'm in the shadows here. We're back on Linear, we're on Oxlease again. And this time around I've got Pete with me and Dave. So I'm in the middle of the two of them. That should be interesting. Three contrasting styles. One of us, Dave, is fishing a bit of range, not particularly far. And myself and Pete are fishing a bit closer in. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and what styles start working and stuff, if any. But it's great to be back. It's Sunday afternoon come Sunday evening. It's really quite windy in all the best sort of way, and it's really warm as well. You know, I mean, it's September the 9th. Crazy. So I've got my shorts on here. You can't knock it. Certainly after travelling from the northwest. Different picture. It was chucking down this morning, but no change there then, eh? Right, I'll keep you posted. Well, I suppose I better give you some kind of catch up. Nothing happening on the first night. Had a bit of an occurrence about 2:30 in the morning. Not sure whether it's because I had light leads on, you know. I think I've been done. We'll have to see. Dave's making hay over there. He's started using worms for tench on one rod. He likes a bit of variation in his fishing. And so far, he's had about 4 or 5 tench, up to maybe £6. And had a little carp, a low double, in the early hours of the morning. And he's just put back. Well, you take a look at this. Now look at this here. It can't be £1. And Dave just copped in on double lobworm. What about that? Hey, that's going to be nice when it grows up, isn't it? Well, Dave just gave me a shout there. And another one on the worm, I think.
Yep.
Right, here we are in Pete's swim. And this is the island on Oxlease, neither of which swims we're familiar with. Neither of us particularly enjoy being up against the island, I don't think. And what about you, Pete? I think I like open water.
To be honest, I like a bit of both, but I do feel a little bit penned in this one.
Yeah, it feels a bit penned in. But it's been quiet until now, and it's only Monday night, so we'll see. It's early days, isn't it, mate? So the sun is going down, and the forecast for tomorrow is much the same as today. Mild, cloudy, a little bit of sun, dry. We might get a bit of rain tonight. Right. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning on what probably is Tuesday morning, and I'm just off the mark. Let's give it a bit of water. £21 4 ounce. Just when I was kind of getting a bit despondent, but I was getting a lot of liners. I should have seen the signs. I should have seen the signs. But anyway, there you go. 21.4. That'll do for me. Phew. Let's have a look at the other side of it. It's lovely condition. Beautiful fish. I've not made many comments leading up to this because things have been rather quiet. So let's hope this is the first of, let's have a couple more after this. Well, there you go. 21.4. It's mint, isn't it? Absolute cracker. Right, I'm going to take some stills now and get it back. Get in. Well, I thought it's time we had a catch up. Like I said earlier, there hasn't been much to report, so it's been quiet, so I haven't said much. It's 4 o'clock in the morning when that rod went off. Wiped out the other 2 rods, as you do. I'm fishing them all, you know, close range, and when I say close range I mean sort of 25-26 yards. It was a nice fish, and I did get a lot of liners leading up to it, so I was kind of awake-ish, if you like, for 4 o'clock in the morning. And you know, I don't kind of spend too much time talking about rigs because I like to keep them basic as I can, and that's the kind of rig I was using. Don't know whether you can see that there, whether it's focusing or not, but let's have a look. There you go. And you can see that I got some cheap yellow shrink tube for that liner effect there, just to give it a sweet corn effect, because originally I wasn't going to use a pink bait. But the pop-up you can see there, it's let's just say it's a 12mm. It was a berry flavoured pop-up, so it was kind of reddish in colour, and I've had them soaking in you know, the well-known additive, liquid additive with fluorescein in, let's say, a sea creature flavour. Does that give it away? And same goes for the plastic on top. It's you know, I do like tipping all my baits with a bit of plastic, but I've got them all soaking in various flavours, so that was the flavour to match. And usual, dead straightforward. This time I've gone for the sort of slip D presentation, so I've just got a micro swivel on the back there, sitting inside the baits, and a simple shot. And this is a kind of a stiff version, but I prefer the supple one, so I've not used this yet. I don't know, I might have one out there, but what I will say is the that's one of the type of hooks with a beaked point. And what I've found is I tend to use shrink tube as a kicker there for these with a beak point, because they don't seem to turn as well when I'm making them. So the ones with the curved shank, I don't put a liner on, a kicker, whatever you want to call it, but I do with these. And you know, as you probably know, I like the pop-ups. You remember last time around I was talking about the weight of the metalwork making everything heavier, and in addition, if you're going to use any kind of liquids and prepare your pop-ups, then again it's something to remember, because you're adding fluid to a bait, therefore taking away more buoyancy. That's why I've got a fairly large piece of plastic on top, imitation corn. But I do like using the pink colours on here. And I'm not sure, I think maybe that was just it was either a lone fish, or I think the chances are, because I'd wiped 3 rods out and the, you know, all the rigmarole setting them all up, I had to cut one of my leaders. I had leaders on from when I fished over at Brasenose too, and the wind was hacking in and it was a bird's nest jobby, so the scissors came out and set up all over again. And I think with all that, maybe the disturbance was a bit too much with fishing so close in, but we'll see. Pete's not had anything in the next swim, so he's moved another swim further down this morning, so I went over, gave him a hand. I've got my fingers crossed he's going to land on some fish, because you know how it goes. It's good to see him, and we don't want any blanks, do we? I don't think Dave had anything in the night, but he's certainly had some lovely fish yesterday. Mixed bag. He had half a dozen tench and that little tiny pike, and you know, they were all about 5-6 pound, these tench. It's not a bad day's fishing. And he shouted me over. He had a roach, the biggest roach I've ever seen, It must have been over £2. It was a stunner. And when you think that's probably, what, quite a few years old. And there wasn't a mark on it. Absolute cracker it was. Right, now I'm going to have to shout a bit because it's a bit windy, so you might hear a lot of background noise. Dave's just copped himself. How big, mate?
£8.
£8 on the dot. It's a big old tench, isn't it?
Oh yes.
It's only short. It's deep though, isn't it?
Oh yes.
Nice.
On a big logworm.
Yeah?
About a rod and a half length out.
Is it PVA bagging or?
No, just with a maggot feeder.
Brilliant. Lovely fish.
Absolutely stonky.
Well, you don't get £8 so often, do you?
Oh no.
How many have you had now?
8 tench, 1 carp, a £2 roach, a pike, and a couple of decent sized perch.
Brilliant.
Absolutely storming.
Keep up the good work, mate. Well, that's the view from the bivvy this afternoon. Good news. Following Dave having that £8 tench. It was ridiculous, that was. Good fish. Pete sent me a message saying he's had a £20 5-ounce common. So I think he was that excited. He didn't sort of call me over. I believe there's a couple of lads in his swim helping him with the photos and stuff. Well, Pete's got his second one of the day. It's another common. Not many in here.
19.5.
Yeah, it's a nice one. Bit of a splodge on it there.
A few, yes, both sides.
Yeah. Happy with that?
Yep, off the mark.
Yes, in fine style. More to come by the looks of it. Change your swim work, didn't it, Pete?
Definitely worth packing up this morning, and only a 1 peg, but makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, certainly has, mate. Good lad. Well done. I've got a question for you. What does NASA have to do with carp fishing? Have a think about it. But in the meantime, it's the midweek rant.
Ah!
Around 1900, head torches were first used by the likes of surgeons, miners, search and rescue teams. And you know, they were designed and they ran from acetylene, which sort of reminds me of a relationship I used to have with this girl who, her dad was a welder. I knew that because she had acetylene legs. Anyway, moving swiftly on, head torches. So, first used around 1900, and over the years, obviously through technology, they've developed, they've become smaller, they've become lighter, and inevitably they've become more powerful. I think it's fair to say that head torches are very useful in carp angling, and wouldn't you agree that you know, they're predominantly used for safely landing carp during the hours of darkness at close quarters? And of course, you know, they're useful if you sort of rig making, or you're moving swims, or you've lost an item of tackle in the hours of darkness. Again, at close range, very close range. And I think it's only fair to say that you know, you keep that usage to a minimum to prevent disturbance to the swim, sensible, and obviously to prevent disturbance to other anglers who might be out there minding their own business. So why is it that more and more we see people using head torches that can be seen from outer space? I just don't get it. Quite a number of times recently I've noticed what appear to be World War II searchlights flashing across the lake. And I just got to thinking about what people are trying to achieve in using this type of item. I mean, are you trying to communicate with life on another planet? Because the chances are the only messages that you'll be receiving are the ones from Uranus. So, that takes me back to my original question. What does NASA have to do with carp fishing?
There she is, 18 3/4, third common from my swim swap this morning. So, happy days, really.
You may have noticed in you know, a couple of my other videos that I've got one of these lights, a static light for photographing fish at night. Now I've got to say right from the off that is a completely different matter altogether. Obviously here at Linear, not obviously, but for those who haven't been before, you can retain fish for up to say 30 minutes or so, purely for the sake of setting your photography gear out, etc., and taking photographs. Therefore, you know, there's none of this waiting, the ideal scenario of waiting till daylight, which is fair enough. So the bankside static light is a necessary evil. I've got the pretty obvious one of choice, but I dare say there are plenty more. You know, it's unavoidable, but it's static light. You know, you have it on for as little time as possible and you switch it off. Job done. Get your photographs done, that's it. It's not something you're going to be waving around everywhere, is it? So yeah, a necessary evil. Right, there you go. There you go. You may or may not know, but all the videos I made this year have been done on a mobile phone, which I have in my hand right now. That's the fitting that sits on top of the tripod. The phone slots in there, and the light sits on there. Tripod cost me hardly anything. Brilliant piece of kit, worth its weight in gold. Now just through the trees there, you'll see one happy angler. As the local takeaway arrives, and young Dave comes walking away with a large bag of goodies. So it's curry time. So you've got yours. Up you go. Okay, it's 1:30 in the morning. Pete's had a 24. A lovely mirror, lovely old mirror. You happy with that, mate?
Yeah,
good lad. Nice. Just time for a little bit of a recap. Dave informed me this morning that he's lost a big fish close in, and if he says it's big, it's big. He didn't want to put a number on it for obvious reasons, but he raised a smile at the same time as telling me he'd had a 10-pound tench, which is just, it's incredible, isn't it? So he's had a great week's fishing. It certainly got me thinking about using a third rod for other purposes, because I've done well. I've struggled this week, haven't I? Not to say that I've not enjoyed myself, because I absolutely have. And as I've explained in previous videos, I booked time off work to come here and do this. So if you think I'm going to go around chasing fish and killing myself in doing so, and then sort of spitting my dummy out if I don't catch, think again, because it's just not worth it. If you've got an attitude like that, then what's the point in booking any time off work? Because you're going to be one unhappy bunny, aren't you, if it's not going for you. I think Pete had one this morning. It was only about £12. He did call me, but I must have been fast asleep. I think the phone's on quite a low volume anyway, because we're here. I don't sort of like making too much noise. And as I touched upon earlier with the headlights, you know, I've got a couple of little cheap head torches they're utterly brilliant, and if one fails I've got another one, and I don't stand any danger of burning somebody else's retina out on the opposite bank whilst using it, which is always a bonus, isn't it?
Come out to the blue, nice 32.5 pound mirror, taking it 15 wraps over what I'd say about 4 kilos of bait.
Lovely fish.
Mixed particles. Taking on a little piece of fake corn. Job's a good one.
Job's a good one.
Into the depths.
Yes, indeedy.
What a fish. Beautiful.
Oh, mate, you know what's coming next, don't you? Well done, lad.
Cheers, lad. Well, there you go. A 22.5 pound common.
Second one today.
Taken off same rod. 15 wraps. A piece of artificial cooked sweet corn.
Lovely.
Give
Job's a
a good
gun.
account of itself. Nice stocky little fish.
Well, it's been a frustrating day for me. I've been casting around at shoaling fish and bubblers, and with no reward. So Dave's had success today, hasn't he? With his 30 and other fish over 20. Pete's had some. So I'm sort of I'm behind, if you like. Not that it's a competition, because it isn't. But anyway, it's that time of day now that I felt like I should share this with you, because it's just that beautiful time of day where everything falls silent, the water's still, and the sun's in our eyes there, and it's just lovely. Lovely to be here. Lucky me.
Well, there you go. 8.5 pound tench. Taking on the worm, fishing for them like on one of my rods. This is second 8 pounder this week. Most of them have been around about the 5 to 6 pound mark. And this is the 19th one this week. They've been absolutely munching on my worms.
Yeah.
I've gone through about nearly 4 kilos of worms now, and they're having it. Some stonking tension here, absolute stonking.
Well, it's such a beautiful afternoon. I think it's about midday now. Just look at that. Beats working any day. Sat in Dave's swim now, having a cuppa. Putting the world to rights. I wouldn't be anywhere else. Well, there you go, we've just had a move. That's the bivvy in all its glory with the old utility front on. So anyway, I decided to move. Pete went home this morning. So I'm having a go in the swim he was in. He had a few fish. Not yesterday, I think he had one or two yesterday, but the day before more than anything. So they might have done the off. But you know what, it's the first time I've had a move, I think, on one of these long sessions. I've not come too far, a couple of swims, but when you bring in the kitchen sink, it's quite a bit of effort, but it's about 5 o'clock now. So we'll have to see what the evening and the night brings. And apart from that, I've had a great time as ever. Good holiday. Like I mentioned, you know, if I was doing sort of an overnighter or a 24 or a 48, I'd have a completely different mindset, because I've been there and I've done that. And when you're on limited time, you do need to be mobile, you do need to be on fish. Because obviously it's catch at all costs, isn't it? This is a different thing altogether. And that's probably why I like it so much. A lot of time for reflection, which I enjoy. I don't think much of the swans and geese so much, but all the tufties are the coots, but the rest of it's good. Well, it's about 11:30 on our final night. Dave's in again. What do you make of that, Dave?
Well, what a stonker. 28.5.
28.5.
Give a good account of itself up. Same again, 15 rats, artificial calm, over about 6 kilo a bit. Lovely fish.
Brilliant. Well done, mate.
Cheers, pal.
Well, that's the scene this morning. And talk about a struggle this week. It's been less than kind to me. I can't complain. I'm not blanked at least. But you know, this bay here, I moved yesterday evening and it's full of fish. And I got up early this morning and cast it showing fish. And they're still showing. And there's still time. But time's running out. But either way, I've had a great week off work. I can't complain. You can't have everything, can you? You've probably seen that Dave had that 28 last night. I think he had a double during the night as well. But we'll see how it goes. I'm getting ready for packing up now, and the kettle's on. Jobs are good. Well, what can I say about that week? Beaten up to a pulp, wasn't I, fishing wise? You know, I moved swims and I was on fish, and I tried every trick in the flaming book. Were they having it? When you looks out. Anyway, brilliant week off work. See, good to see my mates catch. It was good. I enjoyed it, really good. And I'm glad I didn't blank. But fishing wise, probably the worst session I've ever. Well, I've certainly had in a long time. Not that I've ever had. But anyway, great week. I hope you enjoyed looking at the some of the beautiful fish here in Oxlease. And sunglasses are on. I can't see that happening after Birmingham, can you? So take it easy and enjoy your fishing, whatever you do out there, and sooner or later I'll see you on the bank.